Hi everyone, this is Bob and Katie Adada with Crosspoint Church, and this is Marriage Stories. This is where we get together with other couples that have been married for a little bit of time, and we get to ask them about wisdom and their stories and who they are. So here we are. Who are we meeting?
Yeah, so this evening we have Marvin and Melodie Farr. They have been married a long time. How many years, guys?
37.
I would say
37
38.
years. Okay, there's
37.
37 years. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. We're going to have a little bit of fun just getting to learn a little bit about their story and see perhaps some things of wisdom that we can glean from them. So tell us, guys, a little bit about you and your family and your makeup and where life is right now for you.
Well, I think life is pretty good right now for us. I'm loving being an empty nester. We've been empty nesters for a few years, and that's kind of nice, you know, as much as we love our children and love them to come home. Just the two of us, it gives us a lot of opportunity just to kind of hang out and you know, date in the backyard or you know, just hang out together. So
Well, thank
your
you.
turn.
Oh.
I think you said it all.
So we do,
Like no,
How many
like,
children? How many children? What's life look like?
We have two children, a boy and a girl, both married, and they both have a boy and a girl as grandchildren for us. So we have 4 grandchildren. We have been blessed all around. Everybody's healthy and happy, and they all are working and enjoying their careers. We have, let's see, we've been out in Temecula area for about 10 years, and we really like the area out here. Love Crosspoint Church. We've been going there ever since we moved here pretty much, so for about almost 10 years.
we're Canadians living in the US, and we've been here since 96.
I wouldn't tell people that.
Wow.
They might not like us then.
Well,
So we'll just start off, we're getting to know you well. So what made you decide to move to the United States? We're curious.
We had a business in Canada and saw the opportunity to expand it to the US, and so we did that in 1996. And the plan was to be down here short term, get it going, set it up with management, and move back to Canada. But we fell in love with the place and decided not to go back. So we lived in Orange County for 17 years, and then moved out here and have really love the area out here in Wayne Country is where we live, and we would not want to live anywhere else.
So what were you in, the snowy part of Canada or the nicer weather part of Canada?
Both, actually. I was born and raised in Calgary, where it gets very cold, but it does have some beautiful days in the summertime.
and there's the lots of snow part.
Yeah, and we did have a business there for about 7 years after we were married, and then we sold that business and moved to Vancouver, which is the nice part where it's milder and just rains. It doesn't snow as much. So, and by then we had already had our children, so it was a fun move for everybody. And then of course we made that transition down here when the kids were still pretty young.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. I'll have you talk to our daughter, Haley, sometime. She has now convinced herself in the last 2 weeks that she needs to move to Canada. So we'll connect you guys. Yeah.
Okay.
We can give her some good tips.
Okay. All righty. Okay. Well, I think we'll get started. We're going to let Bob ask you the first question. And in a couple of minutes, we're going to have you share with us some of your wedding pictures. But we want to hear we're going to go further back than the wedding right now.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, this is hopefully pretty easy. Pretty easy question. How did you meet?
Well, my cousin was getting married. My cousin was the groom, and the wedding was in a little town called Crossfield. And actually that was where the reception was. And the reception was not getting started on time. As a matter of fact, it was running a couple hours late. And so we were getting quite hungry. So there's a little Chinese restaurant in this town, about you know, block away or 2 blocks away from where the wedding was at. So we decided to walk over there. My cousin, not the groom, another cousin of mine. We walked over to the restaurant to go get some food, and we're sitting down waiting for our food to be delivered to us, and Marvin and one of his friends walk into the restaurant. And we were all dressed up. And in this little town of about, at that time, 12 people, you know that when you're dressed up like that, you're all probably going to be at the same party. So Marvin said to me, "Hey, are you guys at the wedding?" And I said, "Yeah, we are." And we chatted for a few minutes, and they got their food, we got our food, and Marvin and I said, "Save a dance for me." And I said, "Save a dance for me." And so that was where we met, was at this restaurant. And then we went back to the wedding, and we danced and had some fun. And Marvin did not know my side of the family at all. He was there because the bride's sister wanted an escort to the after party of the wedding. So that's why Marvin got invited. So,
Okay.
yeah. So I got to meet him at a wedding.
Okay, and so you had the first, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I felt like a wedding crasher. I was like the date for hire that, you know, come with me to the after party, and that was kind of the wedding. I didn't know anybody except her sister, who was the bride, but I didn't know her family. So.
So did any sparks fly from that first dance?
Well, probably with me they did. I don't know about him, but yeah, and at the time too, I was living with my brother. We had a small apartment in a little town about 20 miles down the road, and that's where I was living. Marvin was living in Calgary, and my brother and I had just moved into this apartment together. We didn't have a phone. The only way I could get a hold of Marvin is if I used my neighbor's phone to call him at work, because that's the only number I had for him. So he was probably getting quite tired of me calling him.
Oh my goodness.
Well, it was a neat thing for you to have a girl call me rather than me calling a girl. I haven't experienced that at that point. Keeping in mind that we were like 19 years old, so we were
Younger.
Young. I was 19.
I was 18.
Yeah, you were 18 at that
You're just
time.
turning 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were pretty young, and as far as the sparks at the wedding, we just had a lot of fun. I didn't know that I would even see her again, actually. You know,
I had other ideas.
you give a girl your phone number, and it's like, well, who knows if she'll ever call, you know? But she did, and so we got together and we went on a date, and that went really well. So from that point on, we were almost inseparable. I don't think we spent many days that we didn't. Well, we talked every day, but we didn't see each other almost every day too, I think. But.
Yeah, we were. Yeah. Once we got pretty serious, I moved back home to my parents' house, and because I wasn't going to see him very much if I didn't move back into Calgary. So I moved back home, and there it was.
You made the commitment. So that we won't consider the wedding the first date then. Do you remember the first date, where you went, what you did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me.
Okay. There's a little neighborhood bar that in Calgary that we went to, and actually I didn't go pick her up at her house. She had her cousin come to the bar.
The cousin that was at the wedding with me.
And he kind of escorted her on the date to see if I was going to be safe or not. But it wasn't too long, and she basically told her cousin to leave.
You can leave.
Okay.
Yeah, we actually, it went very well from there. So.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it was a good date.
Yeah.
It was a good date. So.
Well, it sounds like I already know the answer to this next question for Melody, but we'll see. When did you know? When did you know that you were in love?
Probably that first date. I kind of knew. You know, I knew. I knew. my sister, she tried to steal him away from me.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And I kind of put the foot down and said, step away. Step
Was she older or younger than you?
Younger.
Younger, okay. So she was thinking ahead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was like, step away.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. How about for you, Marvin?
Well, for me, love, I think, was not anything that even was on my radar. I was just enjoying, Melodie and enjoying life, and but it was probably, I would say that it took me probably the first year to realize that this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. But I've always been kind of a thinker that kind of takes time to work things through. So.
Different personalities, absolutely. All right, so we're going to jump ahead now. So I'm going to ask 2 questions. I'm going to ask engagement and how long from the time you met at that wedding to wedding day?
2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
Less a day.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
We actually decided we wanted to get married 2 years to the day, but it was a Sunday, so that wasn't going to work. So it was less a day.
Yeah.
But.
And engagement? Well.
I'll let her tell this story.
Oh, okay.
He did not get down on one knee, I will tell you that. We were actually with my dad.
There's a reason for that.
There is. We were actually with my dad and my sister, and my sister had just gotten a new little pony. And
wait now. Are we talking about a play pony or are we talking about a live pony? Because when you said little pony, My Little Pony is what I.
I guess she wasn't a pony. She was a horse, I guess.
Okay.
So she just wasn't very big, and Tucker was pretty young yet. He wasn't broke. So we were going over there, and Naomi was lunging her horse and doing all the stuff you need to with a unbroken horse. So, and we hadn't seen him yet. So we said, well, we'll come with you. And so next thing I know, Marvin and I are talking, and all of a sudden he just blurted out, will you marry me? And I'm like, yes.
So to paint the picture, we were in the middle of a horse field that's got manure all over the place. So that's the reason I didn't go down on a knee.
Okay.
I think he could have found a dry patch, but it's okay.
But we had already picked out a ring. We had a ring made for us.
No, that was after.
Yeah.
No, that was after.
Oh, we'd already done that.
No, it was after.
You'll find we do this a lot.
Yeah.
That's okay. Okay, so engagement, we now can picture in a patch full of manure. We've got a very clear picture of that.
Horsefield.
Yeah, horsefield. Okay, yes.
Horsefield.
There you go. All right, then the wedding comes, and we would love to see a couple of pictures of the wedding day.
All right.
Young Marvin and Melodie.
Oh, we're young, all right.
And what were you,
young.
22 and 21?
No.
20 and 21.
20 and 21.
Okay,
I hadn't
all right.
turned 20 yet.
You
So
hadn't turned 20, okay.
I hadn't turned 21 yet.
She turned 21 on her.
How close is that? Is that good?
Yep, it's perfect. There it goes.
Oh, that's a
Perfect.
beautiful dress.
Wow, very,
That's
very
me and my
nice.
sisters.
Notice I'm not in there.
He's coming.
And this is 1983, right?
Yes.
Okay.
There's
Oh, look at
Marvin.
the hair, Marvin. Wow.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's a throwback.
That was where he was getting dressed at somebody's
Okay.
apartment.
Big fans on the wall.
Very
Oh,
nice.
it's taking
Oh,
you
I
back.
know.
Right.
And there's us.
Okay.
That's pretty, yeah. Wow.
And then here's us at our reception cutting our cake.
That's awesome.
So whose hair was longer?
You know?
Actually, Melodie's was a little, but not by much.
Oh my
Here,
God.
I'll show you one more. So
I
that's our
love
whole
looking-
bridal party right there.
Oh, I love looking at the wedding pictures. So
Yeah.
much fun.
Yeah,
Nice.
we did have a fun day. In Canada, when you get married, you typically invite everybody you know. So especially Marvin's family, because they lived out in the country, and all the neighbors had to come. So our wedding, by the time the dance happened, I think there was 275 people.
Something like that.
275 people showed up. So it was a very big wedding, but it was a lot of fun, and we're still having fun.
Yeah.
That's good. Yay!
All right,
And
so
our honeymoon was in California, so
oh,
that was kind of we knew what we were in for when we decided to move here because we had spent some time here. So.
Yeah.
There you go. And was that the first time either of you had been to California? Was on your honeymoon?
First time for me.
Okay.
I did a trip with a buddy right out of high school. The year that Mount St. Helens erupted, so we drove through all the volcano dash and all that stuff. But yeah, that's dating me now. But,
that hair is the one that dated you, sir.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
that's very true. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all of us guys look like that.
Yeah, he's growing it back now, you know.
Yeah.
This COVID haircut.
Oh, awesome.
Oh my goodness.
All right, so speaking of fun, what's a fun tradition in your family?
Go ahead.
Okay. So every year we have a family Christmas party, and we've been doing it, I can't tell you for how long. We actually took a break for a little while, but then started back up again. But every year we do this big family Christmas party, and we supply all the food and all the drinks, and the kids come home, and all our friends. Because we don't have family here, everybody that we know is basically family to us, you know. So everybody gets invited. It's an open-ended party, and it's just, please come and join us at the Farr's Christmas party. And we actually call it the Reindeer Romp. And we try to have it the first weekend of December so that it kind of launches everybody into a Christmas season. And something that our granddaughter actually told us before this last one, because she's almost 10, Riley came up to us and she said, Nana and Papa, I just love this Christmas party. She said, it's what makes me feel like Christmas is starting. She said, if you never do it, she said, or if you don't ever do it, she said, I don't know if Christmas will feel the same. And I thought, you know, that's pretty sweet that this is something that's not only important to or was important to just our kids, but now it's important to our grandkids too. And you know, and everybody comes. It's just such a lovely party, and everybody mingles, and yeah, it's a great time.
I think the first one was 1987.
1987?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, so that's amazing. That is a very long tradition, even with a few years breaks, and that's understandable. But yeah, that's really neat. Sounds like lots of fun. All right.
It is fun. You'll have to come next year. This year, you'll have to come this
We'll wait
year.
for our invitation. Yes, we'll wait.
There you go.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so we were going from something fun to maybe a question that's a little bit more serious. So, is there a Bible verse that's helped your family through difficult times?
I'll let you answer this one.
Well, actually, I would say that there isn't a particular one, but anything in the Gospels that talks about Christ's love is very dear to us. We our Christian walk is to try to exemplify Christ. So anything in the Gospels that tells us who Christ is and how we're to love one another is near and dear to our hearts.
Well, it sounds like you practice that with your, I mean, you definitely have the gift of hospitality, you know, inviting people over every year. But that's awesome. Yeah, that's definitely Christ's love right there, you know.
Well, and I think too, you know, when you talk about going through difficult times, I don't know if we've ever really gone through anything difficult that has ever made us, I mean, I have to say this right.
I think I can word it for you.
I know that
We've been fortunate to not be have suffered, you know, loss in a way that, you know, was excruciating or to experience a negative impact from our environments or whatever. So we try to find the positive in every situation, even when the situations seem grim. Not saying that we haven't had, bad situations, or we haven't had, financially been tight or whatever. We always try to look for the positive in it, and try to see God working in that and what He's trying to teach us. We try to learn from that. So I think having that kind of an attitude, it doesn't really feel like we've had any real negative things happen to us.
And I think too, even going through like just some highs and lows in the business, because we have our own business, and there's always going to be some peaks and some valleys, and yet I think through, even in those times, God has always been faithful. He has we've never ever not been able to pay our vendors. God has always provided every single time. And so for that, just knowing that Christ is faithful like He is something that we say every day. God is so good. He is so faithful, and He loves us more than you can imagine. And so it's a good thing. It's a good thing to know that we have that comfort. And I think that we're both just really solid in that, knowing that He's in control of everything.
Yeah. And if I could add to that too, there have been times that we feel like we've experienced miracles because we didn't know where things were going to come from when they needed to, but they did. And so we give God the glory for that. Are very grateful.
It's awesome. Sounds like there's other stories there too.
Yeah. For another time.
For another time.
Yeah.
For another time.
For another time.
There you go.
Yeah.
Am I doing this?
Yeah.
Okay. So how about what's next on your bucket list?
I'll let you add. I have mine. He probably has his. Okay. So on my bucket list, we just did Italy, and we had the best time ever. I mean, we were gone for over a month, and we did Italy and a villa and a land time, and then we did a cruise. And so, I mean, it was just so perfect. And it was that was a dream trip come true. But I think one of the next things that I would like to do on my bucket list, and it doesn't have to be next, but it's on my list that I would love to do soon, is I would love to just get another RV, jump in it, travel across the country, going to, food places, and just, trying different recipes, trying different restaurants, eating at different restaurants, and then going back and trying to remake that recipe, recreate it. I love food and I love to cook. And it's just something, I have a little cooking blog that I started a while ago, and I would just love to be able to add to that.
Okay.
By a RV trip across the nation visiting.
Okay.
How fun. Do you want to share what your food blog is? Is that something you want everybody to go visit?
Sure, if they want to go to it. It's called melodieskitchen.blogspot.com.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. We'll have to send people that way.
Yeah, it's fun. I haven't posted in a little while, but I'll get back to it. But it is fun. So.
All right, Marvin, what's on your bucket list?
Well, I confused bucket list with to-do list. So there's an order of things that I would like to do things in, but that's more of a to-do list.
Could a bucket list be a honey-do list?
No. I'm pretty easygoing. I don't really have anything out there that I think I have to accomplish or I have to do. I mean, I've been very fortunate to be able to do what I've wanted to do most of my life. So I don't really feel like there's any unaccomplished things that I need to do. but I do have some things coming up that I think would be more less bucket list and more to do things like goals. But yeah, but whatever makes my wife happy. If she wants to go in an RV and go on an RV trip, that's fine with me.
There you go.
Well, as long
really
as we're
sweet.
together, that's what
Right.
matters. As
Mhm.
long as we're together.
That's really sweet. All right.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it, you guys. Okay, next question. So let's say we're going to time warp you back to 1983, and it's now your marriage day. And since 1983, is there something that you would have changed? Some knowledge, some self-reflection that you're like, would have done that different?
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I know what I would do different, but I'll let him answer this one.
So I'm actually going to go back to 1982, and it would probably be to rethink the marriage proposal, because I've been hearing that ever since we're in the
That's
first
awesome.
batch.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
Well,
Thanks to this interview, it will be manure forever. Sorry.
I know. Well, I would go back. The one thing I would change is back to 1983, when on our wedding day, the one thing that I didn't get to do with my dad was have the father-daughter dance. And I mean, back then we were doing the father-daughter dance. It wasn't anything different, and the mother-son. But our wedding was so big and there was so much going on that when the dances started, it just kind of went from, bride and groom.
Well, your dad was in the band too.
Well, yeah, but
Like he was playing the music for the dance.
right, because we had a live band, but I didn't get to have that father-daughter dance, and I missed that. And then the next morning, when we went back to my mom and dad's to do our gift opening and stuff, my dad said to me, Melodie, we did not get to have our father-daughter dance, so I'm going to dance with you right here. So we danced in the kitchen, which was very sweet, but my dad's gone now, so that's just something that I think if I could go back and change things, that would be definitely the one thing I would change.
Right.
So
Very nice.
anyway,
All right.
has
How
nothing
about-
to do with us changing anything.
That's
Right.
okay. That's all
Yeah.
right.
Sounds great. What is the most important thing for a wife to know? Like if you're gonna, if you're sitting there chatting with, and these other ladies are watching, what's something very important for a wife to know?
I would say, like Marvin had said earlier, that he has goals, and that is very true of him. He is very goal oriented, and he'll write down things, make notes in books of goals and things and how he's going to get through it and to it. And I think the one thing that a wife should do is get behind him on his goals. If he's got a goal to whatever it might be, to go and add on to the back of the barn, whatever it might be, get behind him on that and say, what can I do to help? How, I think it's a great idea. With Marvin, it's more about buying, different pieces of equipment that are going to launch a different product in our business. And I'm like, do it, do it, because that's something that is good. It's good for him, and you just need to back your husband in goals. And I know when it comes to me and my goals, Marvin is always the first one to say, hey, you want to do it? Let's do it. Let's figure out how you can do that. What do you want to do? Where do you want to start? Yeah, I just think just got to get behind your husband and just support what he wants to do, and just jump in if you need to, be supportive. So
Can I answer this question too?
I think so. Why not? Well,
So
if it's
reason,
okay, good.
the reason why I want to answer this question is because you can read it. What's the most important thing for a wife to know from the husband's perspective is to know that she's loved, and for her to know that love is unconditional, that it doesn't matter about anything to do with her appearance or anything to do with you know, the things in the world. It's your relationship with her, and that under all circumstances that she is loved, and that should also come with a sense of security for her, that
Yes.
she feels comfortable with whatever you guys want to talk about. She feels secure in your relationship, that there's not she doesn't have to look anywhere else for anything. It's you know, you as a husband should be there to support her and provide for her.
And I feel that every day. Every day. I have never ever felt where I was not taken care of. It's, you know, I know if I'm having a bad day, he'll come in and he'll just give me.
Marvin, of what's the most important thing for a husband to know? Is it that they need to make their wife secure, or do you have another answer?
Well, I do have another answer.
Okay.
I think it's important for a husband to know his wife's love language. I think that so that then he can express his love in a way that she appreciates. I also think it's important for a husband to put Christ at the center of their home, and that to be the one that leads the home and initiates prayer, initiates time spent talking about God and God's word. And I think those are important things to, as a husband, to you know, be that example to your kids as well, because if they see dad, you know, being involved in the Bible and praying and encouraging them to pray, then they see it as a positive thing.
Mhm.
I'm going to throw a curveball. I'm going to ask you a question that we didn't give you ahead of time. So what would you tell, let's say we have a young couple married they're about the same age you guys were when you got married. And maybe in his family, he wasn't raised with an example of like what you just said. What would your advice be? How would a young man that's newly married grow into those things of being the spiritual leader? What are your suggestions?
Well, the biggest thing for me personally was to do the Homes of Honor course that John Trent and
Gary Smalley
did years and years ago, because it exemplified that for me. I didn't come from a home where that was modeled either. And to be honest with you, I didn't, you know, I was 21 years old when I got married. I really didn't have a clue what I was getting into. I just figured that's what you do next. You know, you find somebody you want to spend the rest of your life with, you get married, and you know, the rest will fall into place. And so.
Now I should say both of us came from families, though, like our parents have very lengthy marriages. Like your parents.
Yeah.
I mean, it was when we made our commitment. It was, we're in this. There isn't another option. Divorce is not an option. You know, we don't walk away from anything.
Yeah.
You know,
we're
in this and we're in it for forever.
We both have 6 brothers and sisters, and you know, that was just kind of the way we were raised, is that if you know, once you get married, it's a lifetime commitment, and you just got to figure it out. You know, and so for us, it was very helpful to number one, to become Christians, because when we got married, we weren't believers. We had very little interest in anything to do with faith, but
we knew it. We just didn't know. We just didn't do it.
And then our kids came along, and that's really what sort of launched us in the direction of exploring what faith really was, and eventually giving our lives to Christ, and then taking that Homes of Honor course, which I think now there's all kinds of different ones that are similar, that like the love language course that's out
what's
there.
your love language? What's
it's
that?
It's very similar, but it really, early on, it helped us to understand each other, and it helped us to have a common goal as far as loving Christ and putting Christ at the center of our home. So that would be probably my biggest encouragement, is to try to exemplify that to them.
Yeah, I'd never heard of Homes of Honor. I'll have to Google it and see if it's still a thing. So it was a course. It wasn't a book. It was like a course that you attended together as a married couple, or?
No, it was like a DVD and a book.
Actually,
DVD.
It was,
it was actually VHS back then.
VHS. I was going to say, there was no DVD when we went.
Yeah.
It was a video series. It's actually really quite, at the time it seemed really quite comical. I'm sure if we watched it today, we would think, this is the latest course I've ever seen. But he used different puppets, and I mean, it was pretty fun. Yeah.
But it was very easy to understand, you know, to figure out, you know, your spouse and what's important to them, and yeah, it was a great course.
I think that was very smart of you, Marvin, to be proactive on that instead of reactive. I think you know, Katie and I talked to a lot of other couples, and that's partly why we're doing this. But it seems like a lot of people are just reactive, and they just wait until something happens, and then they don't know how to put the fire out. Pretty much, you know what I'm saying? So that is, I give you props for that. It's always good to hear somebody going, well, let me think ahead here and see what's coming or what could come, and let me figure this out before it gets here. And that's, I think that's just a small portion, it sounds like, of what built a happy marriage.
Well, I really wish I could take credit for that, but I really would give credit to the church for that, because we were brand new Christians, and we were hungry for the word and hungry for any courses or anything that they had to offer. And this happened to be one of those things that they were offering. So it changed our lives.
Good to hear.
So fine.
Yep.
All right, last one. What's a small thing that couples can do to keep their marriage fun and engaging?
You got to keep dating.
Yeah.
You just have to keep dating. You know, whether, like I said earlier, whether we have a date night in the backyard, you know, or a movie in our atrium, or, you know, Marvin seems to think a date is, hey, I'm taking you to Hank's Hardware, and then we'll do McDonald's or In-N-Out.
Ooh, extender.
It's so exciting.
But you're together. You're together.
Hey,
And that's the thing.
Fun.
You know what? That's the bottom line, is just be together, and just always just think about the little things that make them happy. You know, I will tell you one thing. When Marvin and I first started dating, every time he would pick me up for a date, there would be a rose on the seat of his truck. Every single time. He never missed it. And I loved it. I mean, I'd get in there and there'd be a flower there. And sometimes I'd run it back into the house and put it in water so that it would last. And sometimes I would just keep it, and, you know, just keep it in the truck. But there was always something there. And then, you know, the longer you're married, those little things don't happen all the time. But when little things like that do happen now, they're pretty meaningful, you know, because it's like, it's more thought out now. I mean, not that it wasn't then, but it's like just the little things like that, you know, take the time to do the little things, you know. So Marvin probably does more little things for me than I do for him, because that's just who he is. It's not that I don't do little things, or maybe he thinks that I do more little things than what I do, you know, I don't know. But I think you just gotta just be together, just do things.
And I would beg to differ on that. I think she does way more for me than what I expect her to do. Like, she's always, you know, catering to me, and, you know, doing little things, you know, kind of like the flowers thing, but it's little things like, you know, if she's up, she'll, you know, get me a drink, or she'll take away my dishes if we're eating in the living room, or, you know, she cooks dinner, she, you know, continually cleans and cooks and takes care of me. And so there's a lot of things that she does, just not realizing that I really appreciate them, and that's part of what drives me to do those little extra things. But
and I wouldn't think that those would be things that he thinks are the little things. I don't know, but yeah. But the big thing is date. Don't stop dating. You know?
Even when we had kids, it was important for us to take a night and get a babysitter and go out on a date, whether we went to a movie or whether we, if we didn't have the money, we would try and get one of the parents or somebody to take the kids, and we'd do something that didn't cost a lot of money, but we always tried to do something where we could get removed from the responsibilities of everything, around you, and spend time together one-on-one. And I really think that helps your relationship.
Well, and here's just something that happened. Like just last night, Marvin came down from the barn, and I was in the house. I was doing laundry, I think is what I was doing last night. And he came down and he said, "Come on, we're going to sit outside. The sunset, the evening's beautiful. We're going to go sit outside." So, we did. He just grabbed my hand and away we went. And those are the things that you just, just do. Just take that spur of the moment and just say, "Hey, we're doing this," and just do it. So, yeah.
Very good. Yes, yes, very good. I think that's a good way to end it, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you were out at the sunset,
We were.
enjoying yourselves and your
Yeah.
time together.
In love.
Yeah.
I love spending time with my husband. He's my best friend, and yeah, I love spending time with him. So,
All right.
That makes me happy.
and that makes him happy.
There you go. There you go. Oh my gosh, guys. Well, thank you so much for taking some time out tonight to allow us to get to know you a little bit more. Thank you for just sharing your story and some of the things that you guys do that have worked to help make a successful marriage for yourselves, and hoping that people that are listening to this might grab some of those ideas for themselves as well. So we appreciate your time.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. One more time with your cooking blog.
Oh, Melodie's Kitchen at melodieskitchen.blogspot.com.
All right.
Okay, guys, there you go. Go blow up her page. All right. Well,
now
thank you,
you're going to
guys.
make me get in the kitchen and go cook
Yes.
and do
Yes,
something.
you got to have new content now. Come on
There
now.
you go.
The
Yeah.
fans are
Well, my
calling
husband
for it.
loves to eat it, so it's all
Yeah.
There
good.
you go.
I'm requesting a French toast recipe.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
All right.
there might be one on there.
Oh,
All right.
we'll have to
I'll
go
have to
check
go
it
look.
out.
I'll have to. If there isn't, I will get you one.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Take
It's great
care.
meeting you. Bye.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.